Movie buffs, this one's for you. Four Israeli films are featured in the 16th Israeli Film Festival this month. The festival kicked off with this documentary about the migrant life of one of the founding members of Pinoy folk rock band Asin, Mike Pillora, or also known as Kuya Noy. Now, what else can we expect in the film fest? Well, joining us now is Israeli ambassador to the Philippines, Ilan Fluss. Boker Tov, Ambassador. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Paulo. Thank you for having me over with you.
It's our pleasure. First of all, congratulations on the opening of the film festival. Let's talk a little bit more about the first film that we've got featured here, Kuya Noy. Now, it hits closer to home because of the main character himself, yes?
Well, I think Kuya Noy it's a fun movie, which is based obviously on a Philippine star. We established this Asin group here. Very well known in the Philippines, 70s and the 80s. And then he marries an Israeli and finds himself in Israel, basically at the beginning, totally unknown. And he becomes like any other Filipino OFW, trying to survive, to work, finds work, but then slowly becomes also popular in Israel, especially with the Filipino community. And we have a very big Filipino community in Israel, caregivers and others. Having a concert in the Philippines, in Israel, and he finds himself sort of running a normal life in Israel, living in Tel Aviv. So I think it brings a very nice human story of a different kind of relationship between the two countries. And it was amazing to host him last Thursday in a press conference, and he sort of sang for us one of his songs from the past.
Right.
So it is another bridge between people, and I think the whole idea of the film festival is really to show that in Israel is a vibrant country with different cultures. People from it's very diverse. We have people from many countries, so many kinds of films, and it shows all the many faces of Israel and Israeli society.
Very interesting. Well, like we said, that particular one is very close to home. There is a very special relationship between the Filipinos and Israel, but there are three more films that will be available for streaming. Let's talk about those. What movies are those?
Yes, we have every Thursday, from Thursday all the way into Sunday, the entire weekend. We'll have three more films. Kuya Noy was screened the last weekend. But the coming weekend we have, and then she arrived, and after that we will have another movie, which is for me also very interesting, which is about David Ben-Gurion, who is our former prime minister, and he was the first prime minister of Israel in 1948, and after he retired in 1968, actually he moved to live in the desert. One of his dreams, which became true, was to make the desert bloom. And there are all kinds of, it's a documentary, really interviewing him after he retired. And it shows interesting perspectives of Israel then, which are probably also relevant today. I'm not going to the details. I recommend to watch the movie, but it's very interesting. And it talks really about the Israeli challenges, geostrategic challenges and political challenges. And then the last one will be the unorthodox, which also exemplifies the tension in Israel. Israel is the Holy Land, a very, in a way, religious country with a lot of traditions. And on the same time, it's also a very modern, secular city. Tel Aviv is the hub of nightlife, restaurants, culture and business. On the other side, we have Jerusalem, which is more of, I would say, symbolizes the tradition, the religion, the history, the long history we have in Israel. So, as I said, I think these films basically represent different aspects and different faces of the modern state of Israel.
Right, and I'm sure these little sort of peeks at the culture and what Israel has to offer will really sort of get people interested. And now let's shift gears a little bit, because on that note, let's talk about how Israel is opening its doors to tourists. Vaccinated Filipinos can now actually visit Israel. What's the process, and do we need a visa? When can we begin to visit?
So first of all, I would say I hope the festival will basically encourage people and come to visit Israel. I mean, it's the Holy Land, obviously, but it's more than the Holy Land. Israel has now, from the 1st of November, has decided to reopen finally for tourists. So tourists can arrive and visit Israel, and Filipinos do not need a visa to Israel. However, what we have decided to do in order to make things safer in light of the pandemic was to open tourism, but only for vaccinated tourists, and they have to be vaccinated in the last 6 months. So that means if you got the second shot more than 6 months ago, then in order to enter into Israel, you'll have to have your booster. This is the main strategy in Israel dealing with the pandemic, was vaccination. So we have a very advanced vaccination campaign. So you have to be vaccinated. You have to do the test, the PCR test, 72 hours before you take the flight to Israel. You'll make another test, a PCR test, as you enter Israel at the airport. From there, you would go to the hotel, wait for the results of the PCR test. The results usually arrive within a few hours, usually 6 to 8 hours, but it can be 12 hours maximum. And after that, the moment you get a negative result of the PCR test, then you are free to go and to visit wherever you like in Israel. Obviously, obeying we have kinds of restrictions in light of the pandemic, face mask in closed public buildings, distancing, and so on. But restaurants and different cultural institutions and museums, obviously the holy sites, they're all open. And I wanted to say that we are very happy that Israel is now open, and we really look forward to host Filipinos in Israel and to start again the movement of people between the two countries. I think this is very important and part of basically lifting not only the economic situation, but the people to people and the relationship between peoples in light of the pandemic.
So true. I think a lot of people will be interested to actually do a little bit of travel, and it's nice to hear that we don't actually need a visa, and it is actually quite easy to do travel and see a little bit of Israel. And with that, we want to say thank you so much to Ambassador Ilan Fluss for joining us this morning right here on New Day. Ambassador, thank you so much.